Hello, and welcome to Manga Mommies.
A podcast where we chat about, you guessed it, mangas, and occasionally our lives as parents.
Nice to meet you all. I'm Kyo,
And I'm Kel.
and we are your host on the show. We hope you're having a great Monday. So please, would you kindly get a drink, take a seat, and let's chat. Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed the Halloween double special that came out recently. I know for me, it wasn't as cringy to listen to as some of the older episodes. The poor episode 3 with 0 views since I changed over the host. So sad.
Our poor sacrificial child.
I know it is. Every day I'm like, one day someone will love you.
So, how was your Halloween, Kyo?
It was pretty quiet for the most part. Just pretty much stayed inside and watched movies. And we were supposed to have slaw dogs, but we ended up having pizza instead because I wanted it the day before, which made the hubs think I was pregnant, but I'm not. Just had a weird ass craving to have a hot dog with French fries on top of it.
You? Isn't it funny how it's always like, they crave something and it's normal, and like, you crave something and it's like, oh God, please don't have number three.
Right? Pretty much. And I was just like, oh, this is so good this way. You should try it. Oh, I've been thinking about this all day. I guess this is why I decided to have the slaw dogs instead of waiting until Halloween. And he's just looking at me like craving all day, a little enthusiastic for a hot dog with some French fries on it. And I'm like, what are you looking at me like that? He's like, I swear to God, Kel. And I'm like, what? I didn't do it, I swear.
Can a girl have some cravings around here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh. Yeah, ours was pretty good too. I worked for most of it and then came back, helped Bean get into his costume because he decided that he wanted to be Arthur Morgan from Red Dead 2.
Oh,
So, not quite at the point where, drawing a beard on was unnecessary with him because he's 12. So, had to break out the eyeshadow palette and try my hand at making a beard. It didn't turn
right.
out terribly, but I am no special effects artist. But it was his first year going out without me. He decided that he was gonna go out with a bunch of his friends, so
Well, that's
just stayed
cool.
home and handed out candy to children, and I think that was the most children I've seen out for candy and juice boxes in probably 6 years, so that was kinda
Yeah,
nice.
I know, over here it's trick or trunk that I always make fun of the billboard signs for it because usually it's got like kids standing in a trunk holding out their trick or treat bags. And I'm always like, yeah, that's not for, pedophiles did not design that at all whatsoever for a church. But that's usually the big thing over here. And then I think over like the last few years after COVID, a lot of I guess my generation turning into parents were just like, hey, I want to do old school trick or treating. So it's kind of a mix up. You got the weekend and then you have actual Halloween where a lot of kids will go out and trick or treat. My neighborhood still don't get crap, but to each his own, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we have kind of the same thing for a couple different areas up here, and, they usually call ours trunk or treat,
Yeah.
which I think is funny. But yeah, this was the first year he decided that he wanted to go out, and I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna stay home," and within an hour, I was completely cleaned out of everything, and then, he showed back up with his friends, and they came back to the house and hung out for a little bit, and it was a good night.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I didn't go out and buy any candy for anything, and then we got some candy like the next day when it went on sale. That tends to be like my number one thing is I don't actually want to pay for it. So I
Yes,
like the
there
free
is
or cheap candy.
there is 100%, a candy tax in this house,
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah, because this is the first year my children got to do any trick or treating. So my oldest was just like, "What are you doing? Why is a stranger holding a whole thing of candy? Oh, it went in my bag. Oh, this is for me. Oh my God, goodbye." It just took off, and I'm like, I need you to come back.
Yeah, yeah, that would do it.
Oh yeah, inspecting every little piece is what he did.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah, got out of the car. He started wanting to eat it, and I was like, "No, you can't eat yet."
You don't understand how this works.
Yeah.
It's not for you yet.
Yeah, just because it's supposedly a safer place to get candy, we can't really trust it right now. But then again, who's really gonna put drugs in a kid's candy? Drugs are expensive.
There was somebody in my region who I guess kids knocked on the door. I saw it on, like, the Facebook news thing. He's like, "Oh, I don't have any candy, but here," and gave a 12-year-old, like, a can of Stella beer, and it was like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah.
Like, what in the nonsensical I'm like, "Okay, first off, 1, why are you giving alcohol to minors you don't know? Secondly, Stella?
Well, I mean, it was probably under the assumption of if I don't give them something, they're gonna egg my house.
N
Lesser
I
of
mean,
the
the
two
kids
evils. Well, here,
here
just have something.
well, even for me, like, when I was at a candy and stuff, I ended up, like, turning my porch light off. I took my little, like, glow up pumpkin thing out of my window, and I just had, like, my light on in my and I closed the curtain. I had my light on in the living room where I was sitting, and there was some kid that still came up to the door. I'm like, "I don't have any lights on." Like, my porch light is off, my porch is dark. What is happening right now? And it was one of Bean's friends. I guess he finally figured out where we live because I opened the door and I'm like, "Sorry, bud, I'm completely out." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the light." And then he looks at me, he goes, "Are you Bean's mom?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, say hi to him for me." And then just takes off out of my driveway. And I'm like, "You're wearing a mask, kiddo. I don't know who you are."
Strange child that didn't have a name tag on. Like, I don't under
Like, sure, definitely, Mr. Pixelated Face Mask Man. I will definitely tell Bean who you are and that you said hi.
Right?
I mean, I appreciate the sentiment. And clearly, I've met you because you know me, but I don't know who you are.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I
But,
get that.
anyways, moving on.
Yeah. Mo moving on a little bit here. Well, we'll probably loop back, but we're moving on a little bit here. I don't know about you, Kels, but I did not expect it to get, popular over Halloween night like it did the podcast. At least part 1 that covered Vampire Night. I mean, I knew that it was one of the more popular ones that we've had so far, I think maybe besides Fruits Basket, but not many people even went in to listen to that one. But it's been out for so long, and I think because the anime, the redo took over for the manga. Guess that's why a lot of people were like, let's just skip that one. We're not going to listen to it. But I was actually surprised that so far we had about 17 views as of this recording that happened over like 2 days of it being
Which
up.
is crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's not like 25,000 views or anything like that, which would have been great. But for me, it's still a lot, especially it being YouTube. And well, if you've listened to the other podcast, you know my feelings on YouTube. Starting to kick my ass with that one a little bit. I
They just had to
mean,
prove you wrong.
obviously, yeah, because it's higher. Like we have more followers on Spotify than we do YouTube, but we have more views on YouTube than we do Spotify, which is crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that we even have 17 views at all is just super impressive to me. I didn't think people liked us that much.
Well, I think they like Vampire Night and they're like, what do they have to say about it? I think a lot of people's watch the anime
Yeah.
and not read the manga, so they don't really know. It kind of splits off into Twilight in a way. It splits off weird. I still have weird feelings about it. But, it made me super happy, to see the channel growing for us poor older women who don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I was super impressed with it. I was super happy with it, so I can't really say much on like the downsides of it.
Yeah, I was over here just like, oh, let's see what it is. And then I'm like 15, 6, 17. Whoa, what's going on?
What happened?
Meanwhile, like the other channels, like the other not channels, but the other episodes are like, 1 view here, 2 views here, for episode 3, 0 views here. I think episode before this last one or last two was like at 7. So it goes 7, 17, and then part 2, which is I was already knew it was not gonna get as many views because it's considered horror, and, a lot of people
Mhm.
cringe with a lot of it. So it got about 5 views so far.
Which is still crazy to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's so thank you. Hopefully, y'all will return, and it's not just a one-time fluke because y'all read Vampire Night. We all know the truth, though. It's not us, it's Vampire Night. I mean, come on.
We know it.
We know it. It's the truth. But if you come back and you end up subscribing, which would be great, you would be loved forever by us, our lovely audience.
Yes. Much agreed. And because we have finished off our last manga of the month, it's time for a new one.
It is Manga of the Month for
Yay!
November. Ooh wee. Time flies when you're having a good read in the fall.
So we decided we're gonna go with something that's a little bit more lighthearted after sort of the heavy-ish horror of the last one.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Something that doesn't take so many brain cells away from you for all
Oh,
the
yeah.
disturbing nightmares that you have.
Though there is a heads up on this one, it's still ongoing. So there is a high chance that there won't be an ending talk about it. It'll just end up being our thoughts on the whole as a current. And maybe we'll start dipping our toes into some theories. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, speculations, happenstance where we think it could go, and then we'll see
Who
if we're right.
knows? Who knows? We may be right. We may be wrong. We may be in the middle making a sandwich. Who knows? So, Kels, what is the manga of the month? I know our lovely audience is holding their breath in anticipation.
Exactly. So our manga of the month this month is Spy X Family.
Yay!
So this was written and illustrated by Tetsuya Endo. It is a shonen. It was the English publisher for this is Viz Media in the Shonen Jump magazine. Its original run was from March 25th, 2019 to present date, and it currently has 14 volumes. It also has an animated TV series, which started in 2022 and is still ongoing. And it did have an animated film, Spy X Family Code White, which aired in 2023. A little bit about this manga. In order to maintain the state of peace between the rival nations of Westalius and Ostania, a Westalian agent codenamed Twilight is tasked with spying on Donovan Desmond, the leader of the National Unity Party within Ostania. But Desmond is notoriously reclusive, so the only way Twilight can get close to him is to enroll a child in the same private school as Desmond's son, Damien, and pose as a fellow parent. To accomplish this, he creates himself the alias of Lloyd Forger, adopts a young orphan girl named Anya, and marries a woman named Yor Breyer. However, unbeknownst to him, Anya can read minds, and Yor is in fact a professional assassin known as the Thorn Princess. Neither Lloyd nor Yor are aware of each other's true identities or that Anya knows their true professions. The family later takes in a dog with precognitive abilities who they name Bond. Despite all of this, and Twilight's occasional lapses of common sense due to years of spy work, he tries to perfect the role of father and husband in order to carry out his mission.
Ooh.
My first thoughts were really Forger as a last name for a spy. How creative.
Yeah, totally.
I did find out a couple of fun facts about this little series that have actually nothing to do with this manga as a manga itself, but just kind of the cult following of it that happened extremely quickly. So fun fact. Did you know that they made this manga into a musical in Japan? It debuted on March 8th, 2023. There was also a nationwide tour for the musical in Koboko Grand Hall in Nishinomiya and another in Fukuoka. There was also an amusement park attraction for this at Universal Studios Japan from February to July of 2023. And I'm sorry that I'm only finding out about this now because I 100% would have done this. It's where local participants were placed in the role of a newcomer agent for the WISE agency, trying to solve hidden codes located in various places around the park. If they completed the codes, they were allowed to see a live show featuring the Forger family cast members.
Yep, unfortunately missed it all. Dun dun dun.
Why didn't we start this podcast sooner?
Actually, knowing my luck, I probably if I was in Japan at the time, and I would probably have the luck of going, What is this?" Because I'd probably get put in the middle of it and not even know what the hell it's about.
Yeah. From my understanding, the amusement park was, like, little hidden Easter eggs sort of around the entire park.
Hmm,
So, yeah, and then you go, I guess I assume it's some sort of stamp system or something that they were using to figure out all of the different codes, and when you passed it, you got a stamp, and then when you filled your card or something like that.
you got a
But,
prize.
yeah, and the
Oh,
prize was going to see a live show.
oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, I thought that was kinda neat.
Oh, yeah. I love me some fun facts.
Always find
Fun
them.
fun facts and snacks. Those are my things.
So, I am excited to start rereading what I have of this manga series.
I'll be reading this from, the beginning because I have never read it. Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a rarity.
And I've read something you haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we pull up the script.
Yeah. So, that's what we're gonna be reading. I would love to know how everybody else's Halloween went. I know that it's been something that by the time this is airing, it'll be, a little bit past Halloween, but still wanna know.
Yep, everyone's chunked out their pumpkins and, well, carved pumpkins and replaced them with Christmas trees.
Not yet.
Well, some have, yes.
Some have. I am not one of them. I give myself a couple of weeks.
Right?
It just makes my life
Mm.
so much easier.
Yeah, because you gotta I know I don't do the real tree thing. I got a fake one. For me, it saves money. I don't understand what the big issue is about having a fake tree, but I have a fake tree. And, yeah, my mom had one that she had up until, I think, last year. She finally, finally got rid of because she was moving and it was just easier to chunk it. But she had that one for, like, 36 years. She got it when I was born. I grew up with a tree.
Pretty good. Yeah, I have a little, like, 4-foot artificial one, but, yeah, last year we got a real tree. I like the smell of the real trees, but I refuse to pay crazy prices for real trees,
Right,
so
because you're paying for a tree that's gonna die in a few weeks, depending on how you
yeah.
take care of it. I personally don't see the point. I mean, I have real Christmas trees out in my front yard that were planted, and those I can see all year round, and they were worth the money. So, for me, it's like, no. I like the smell of it, but I don't think I would want a chance bringing a squirrel into my house.
Yeah, I live in an apartment, so I don't
Mm,
really have a lot of choice on what I'm allowed to plant.
yeah.
I have thought about trying to find if there's an organization around me that does, like, rent a tree where you can rent, like a potted tree, and then when you're done and over with, then you just kinda, like, give it back.
Yeah.
And then it just kinda keeps going until, because I know some places that I've heard that you can keep renting the same tree, and then when it gets too big to be moved, then they go and they plant it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I've heard of some places doing that, so I gotta see if there's one around me where I can rent a tree instead,
Yeah,
but
that'd be good.
even our tree last year was incredibly resilient, like, I just like, we set it up just after Remembrance Day for us, which is, mid-November, and I think I put that tree out on my front porch in January,
Mhm.
like, after Little Christmas. It was still green
Mhm.
until I think, like, May, because I was supposed to take it to my in-laws, and I just never got around to it wanting to put it in my van.
Yeah.
So, eventually, I just took it and threw it out in the back at my place so that I could, I'll burn it in the wood pile, but yeah.
Yeah, we have 3 big fern Christmas trees. I'm not quite sure what Christmas tree they are, I guess, breed-wise, but they line up our driveway, and they were planted after my hubs's mother passed away. So it was kinda like in remembrance of her, and there was a big fight with the people who used to live next door to us, the drug dealers.
Mm.
They
Mhm.
thought that it was on their property and tried to cut those down, and it became a big fight, like, they didn't even wanna believe the people that came out to, survey the land. They were like, "Are you sure? Because I think it's ours." And the guy's like, "No, it's theirs." And I'm sitting here like, "You don't wanna die, sir. Please don't chop down our trees."
Because you will die.
Yes. Not just because your ass got me shot at one night. But wait, I digress on that one. Stupid assholes. God, the day they got raided, I just watched from my window in joy.
That I believe.
Oh yeah.
If you made it this far in the episode, we want to say thank you. We couldn't do this without your support. If you'd like to subscribe and become an official Manga Mommies member, the link will be in the show notes. For Manga of the Month, the PDF, copy, or free website will be located below. If you feel up to it, like, subscribe, or share our podcast so we can find more people just like you. We hope you have a great rest of your day, whatever time that happens to be, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Stay tuned and thanks for listening.